Hey guys, I know I have not been nearly as consistent with these Q&As as I originally intended, so I do apologize for that. However, I wanted to hop on tonight and talk briefly about this whole concept of connecting the dots. So I do talk about it a little bit in my book, and I just wanted to talk some more about it tonight because I've really been on this high since this past Saturday. I had the privilege of being on a panel that my cousin did this event. It was called Envisioning Me. And on this event, she had several other young ladies. And, with me, it's kind of like I either connect with people right away or I don't. And with this particular group, like we all just connected immediately, and I was truthfully just blown away. It was something I did not expect. Like when I say God blew my mind, that's probably the biggest understatement. But not only was the event amazing, but we as the speakers, like the speakers got on a call after the event was over, and the things that we shared with one another, the way that we were able to pour into one another and pray for one another, encourage one another, the strengths that each of us brought to the table, the way we were able to just pour into each other, it really did just blow my mind. And it went to show me once again just how intentional God is about everything that He does. And one of the young ladies, she mentioned something about how God just connects these dots, and I kind of just lost it at that point. And and so I went on to kind of share a little bit about how I talk about that in my book, and how this is my favorite game when I was little. And I just loved like how when you were able to like connect all these dots that seemed to make no sense whatsoever, and then when you were done, there was just this beautiful picture, and so she went on to share, some other things that God had been sharing with her. And she's really got this amazing concept that God is showing her that is so much more elaborate than what God has given me. So I'm excited about what God is doing in her. However, it reminded me of when I first started working at the job where I am now. And let me just say, I love my job, y'all. I know I've said that before, but I do. Like, I love what I get to do. I get to plan events for a living. And when I first walked into my interview for this position, the very first thing that they did that first day was they opened up with prayer. And I remember sitting in that interview, and I had to hide it, but I'm just like, oh my God, I need this job. I'm just like, God, please give me this job. But, and of course He did, thank you. But, from that point, being in this position, I've also had to work with several boards on this position. And as I also talk about in the book, I went through the tax day floods being in Houston. And so I'm really sorry you guys are going to hear a motorcycle going by. I try not to wish bad things on this dude, but like he really does just like speed through here. And he sets off people's car alarms on purpose. But anyway, so but yeah, so I went through the tax day floods here in Houston, and one of the gentlemen who came to help me clean out my apartment during the tax day floods, his wife was actually on one of the boards. And so a year later, after the flood, I'm getting ready to have surgery on my ankle. And of course, at the time, I didn't have any family here in Houston. My parents are now living here, so I'm grateful for that. But I asked for prayer during the board meeting for my surgery to go well. And so when the meeting was over, this young lady approached me and she said, hey, I know here comes the motorcycle guy again. But she said, I know that you're having surgery and you don't have family, in the area. She said, so if you need someone, to take you to the hospital, let me know and I'd be glad to do that. And I said, that'd be great, So she actually went a step further. She didn't just take me to the hospital, but she stayed there with me. Like she, contacted my parents during the surgery to let them know how things were going. She let them know when it was over. She took me back to my apartment, when it was all done. And, but, I never would have had that connection had it not been for my job. And then on top of that, one of my coworkers, following my surgery, she actually took me to all of my pre-op appointments for the next 6 weeks. And she didn't even live near me. Like she lived like 45 minutes away. So it wasn't like it was a hop, skip, and a jump, for her to just come swoop me up and take me to an appointment. But, my point is, God doesn't do anything on accident. And the event, the panel that I was on, that's no exception. And I was sharing with my cousin, she knows I am not a planner. And I mentioned this in my last video. Like I plan for a living. But when it comes to my personal life, just as an example, I try not to plan things. I promise you, I feel like he's doing this on purpose right now. Like he knows I'm doing this video. But, I try not to plan things because, you just never know how things are going to work out, and I think there's a scripture in the Bible, I'm paraphrasing right now, but it basically says that we can make many plans, but the purpose of the Lord will prevail. And I'm smiling because I really want to scream. But yeah, we can make many plans, but the purpose of the Lord will prevail. And so 2020 was my 40th birthday. I decided to plan. And so I planned a trip to St. Lucia. And lo and behold, Corona decides to rear her ugly head. And so I wasn't able to do that. And it's all good. I'm like, I'll get to go another time, another day. But this season has been very different. And around the time that my cousin asked me to be a part of this particular panel, God was actually saying at that time, hey, like I need you to plan, because there's some things that I've set in motion. There's some things that I have for you. There's some things that I've promised you, and you've reached your season where I need you to plan. And there were so many confirmations that were coming that, I was just like, okay, God, like I'm ready to plan, but you got to show me how to do this thing, because I was like, Lord, better than anybody, I don't like to plan. It's like I'm laid back and I'm just kind of like, I'll go with the flow. I'd rather have somebody else do the planning, and then just like, okay, tell me what time to be there and give me all the details, and I'm there. But now when it comes to my job, I'd rather do the planning so everything goes perfect. But it's like when it comes to life and leisure, man, like just tell me what time to be there, and I'll do it, But God's like, no, like I need you to plan life right now the way that you plan work, And so being a part of this event really helped me, and just to really get some things in order. But at the same time, God was still saying, so I want you to take these things that you're planning and surrender them to me and release them, and so as you're planning and you're giving them back to me, then let me do what I want to do with the things that you're planning. And so I just wanted to like hop on really quick, guys, and just tell you, like, in this coming year, of course we don't know what's going to happen, and even as the year ends, we still don't know what it holds. But if God's placed something on your heart, man, like, what he kept saying was surrender to it. So if it's there, then really surrender to it, just in full abandon. Just go for it. And and then surrender it to him. So give it back to him. You know, don't hold on so tight that if it doesn't work out the way that you completely hoped it would, that you're devastated. But you know, just keep an open hand, as my mentor always tells me. You know, to just keep your hand open, so that way, you know, it's like, God, yeah, I want this, but man, if you want something else for me, I'm okay with that too. You know, and because if he wants something else for you, it's always going to be so much better than what we want for ourselves. And y'all, when I tell you, like, the things that God has been showing me and telling me are blowing my mind right now. And it's not for me to figure out how he's going to do it. It's just for me to fall in line and just be like, all right, let's go. You know, let's enjoy this ride. And you know, I'm excited about what this season holds, and especially all these new relationships and new friendships that he is dropping in my heart. Like, I'm so ready for them and so excited about them. And I'm also very excited. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm like even more excited, I think, about the ones that he removed. And I think I'm excited about that because, you know, even that's connecting dots, truthfully, you know, because it's like he's got to make room. He has to make room for what's coming, you know. And, you know, it's kind of like how I was doing a 700 dot connect the dot page in preparation for this event. And, you know, it was like I had to, you know, go down, like way down the page to connect one dot, just to go back up here and connect another one. And it didn't seem to make any sense whatsoever, truthfully, when I was doing it. And it's like, why do I have to go backwards just to go so far forward? But truthfully, it's like, you know, sometimes you do feel like you're being pulled back just to go forward. And it's all about that propulsion, you know. So, yeah, I mean, just be encouraged, you guys. And whatever God's doing, let him do it. And enjoy the rest of your 2020, because I don't know if I'm going to be back on here before 2021. So if I am, then I'll see you then. But if not, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that good stuff. And I love you guys.